All right, hello, and welcome to another video on This Contains Politics. Today we've got a bit of an interesting one, but of course it's Nigel up there again. But this one's about Jim Ratcliffe and the recent comments that he's made about immigration, about that we've been colonized by immigrants, which is disgusting language, to be honest with you, as of course he's an immigrant in Monaco right now. So he's kind of like he's doing a two-faced argument here. Hang on, my cat is currently in the way of my microphone. But yeah, we'll watch it and we'll go through it.
Good evening. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has apologised today for remarks he made in an interview to Sky News yesterday, in which he said the UK had been colonised by immigrants. It sparked, as I'm sure you've seen, a backlash across both football and politics, including from the Prime Minister, who demanded an apology, which has, in part, been forthcoming. Later on, we'll hear from Reform leader Nigel Farage on why he thinks Sir Jim's analysis of the problems caused by mass immigration was correct, even if perhaps using that word colonised wasn't. But first, let's just remind you of what Sir Jim told us. He was speaking to our economics and data editor, Ed Conway.
You can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause... It'll cause... Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it?
Well, as mentioned, he backtracked a bit today, releasing the following.
And you gotta think to yourself, this is kind of like allowed. People are allowed to say this right now, and they feel emboldened by this because of the speech that we've gotten from Keir Starmer, which was not too long ago, where he said we risk becoming an island of strangers, which is reminiscent to Enoch Powell. So that doesn't really need to. I don't really need to explain much more of that. People are coming more bold on what they can say. And it mainly comes from the richer ruling class. As we go through this video, I'll run you through it of like his background of say Jim Ratcliffe, and we'll talk some more about him and his little bit of he's a little bit dodgy if you like go through what he's actually doing, and yeah, we'll go through it.
Statement. He said, "I am sorry that my choice of language has offended some people in the UK and Europe and caused concern, but it is important to raise the issue of controlled and well-managed immigration that supports economic growth." Sir Jim Ratcliffe continues. He said, "My intention was to stress that governments must manage migration alongside investment in skills, industry and jobs so that long-term prosperity is shared by everyone. It is critical that we maintain an open debate on the challenges facing the UK," he said. Well, there's been lots of reaction to Sir Jim Ratcliffe's remarks, including,
as he says, from Monaco.
From the Chancellor. Here's what she had to say before his partial retraction.
What Jim Ratcliffe said was unacceptable. It was disgusting.
Again, this is Labour with the island of strangers. This is the same party, and they're turning around and saying that this is disgusting. Like, they should be looking at themselves in the mirror. This should be like, they should be like recognizing this and being like, oh shit, he's on outside.
Frankly, Jim Ratcliffe can speak for himself, but the comments that he made yesterday were unacceptable. Our country benefits hugely from its diversity. We see that in our businesses, we see that in our universities, we see that in our cultural life, and we are richer because of the diversity of our country.
As someone who thinks Sir Jim Ratcliffe is right...
That's total bullshit what she's saying, by the way. She does not mean a word of that.
Right is Reform UK leader Nigel Farage. I spoke to him earlier. Was Jim Ratcliffe right to apologise for his comments?
No, he apologised.
And by the way, this is the most squirmy conversation I've seen Nigel in for a long time. Like, he's like backtracking and jumping around questions and answers. He just like, he tries to get everything like he can to go through, and then the presenter keeps pulling him up on it, which, good job from the presenter, like actually pulling him up on some of this stuff, because he catches him out on quite a bit. and Nigel constantly backtracks to get through this.
One word.
Colonisation.
Yeah, he didn't apologise for his comments. So what did he say? He said 12 million people have come to the country in the last few years. Fact.
Well, he got it.
Well, that's wrong. It's only 2.7 million, but like Nigel trying to spin it as per usual, like you can actually just, it's a quick Google. It's 2.7 million, and you can Google this and research it, but some people are too thick and they just believe this. And he tries to spin these lies constantly, and if people were aware of this, they could catch on to it much easier. And like the richer ruling classes try and do this all the time, where they'll try and like put this propaganda or this like hateful messaging across just to trick you into it, because negativity gets more clicks over positive stuff.
His facts wrong, actually. He got the dates wrong, didn't he?
He meant 2000, he said 2020. But since 2000, 12 million people is the population increase in Britain. Over 85% of that is the direct impact of immigration. So that's a fact. There are 9 million people living in Britain of working age on benefits of some kind, albeit some of them in work benefits, I will grant you.
Most of them are in work benefits, actually.
Many of them are. No.
Yeah, like I said, he's very good to pull Nigel Farage up on this.
As I said, I grant you. And he said, given that state of affairs, we don't need mass migration into Britain. And then he goes on to say that it feels like parts of the UK have been colonised.
If we don't have migration in Britain, we can have a lot of migration in Britain. It's just that the government is so poor at doing its job. It could fund itself a lot more if it would tax these wealthy people instead of them going over to other countries and having tax havens, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. And we would be able to fund these people coming into the country and actually like ID them, set them up with like a system so they could get into the workforce. But instead we have a backlog of 3 years that migrants wait in, where they're just shoved into hotels. But this guy wants you to believe that they're just living off benefits. But the government's set up so we keep them living on benefits because they're so bad at their job.
So let's work out what's non-controversial. What's non-controversial is an explosion in the population without the financial compensation to make people's lives better. And I would argue access to the NHS.
And by the way, he wants to privatize the NHS. Let's keep that in mind. He wants to bring in US companies that that you would pay for the drugs and the use of medical stuff. So Nigel Farage wants to stop the NHS from being free, and he wants to privatize it so you pay out the nose, even though you probably can't afford to pay your rent and bills.
Housing rents, etc., have been damaged by it. Now, the use of the word colonisation, that's what he's withdrawn.
Do you think that's offensive?
I think it's probably, in the dictionary definition, correct, but perhaps...
And of course he would say that, the fascist that he is.
People aren't quite ready for it.
I mean, it has historical overtones, doesn't it?
It does.
And I want to ask you about the language, the rhetoric around that. Are people using words like that, people referring to Enoch Powell's speeches, is that overshadowing having a considered debate on migration?
And that's the problem, that you go down a route where people shut up and say, right, we can't discuss this, it's all too difficult, whereas the issues that he raised with the numbers, with the economic cost, are all too real. All I would say is this.
And by the way, this is coming from a billionaire that makes so much money, like in a day, just by breathing, he makes so much money that you would not be able to like fathom it. Like his net worth is 23 billion, and that's just like he makes, I think it's like 1 billion a day just from existing. By the way, this is just from existing. This guy makes 1 billion. This is Jim Ratcliffe. I'm talking about, by the way. This guy is not one of us. He's not a working class, white collar, blue collar, whatever the hell you want to call them. I don't know. He's not. He's not a working class person. He does not represent the 99%. He represents the 1%. The 1% that's telling you that the migrant is the problem, while he gets paid $1 billion a day, and you're getting paid pocket change at your 9 to 5.
In a clumsy way, getting his facts wrong.
It's
in
just
terms of
one
the
word.
dates.
Everything you said was right. One word can be used in a different context. However, it's very interesting, the last census, there are 1 million people living in Britain who speak no English.
They say in the census they don't speak good English.
Yeah, he's just trying to put across like the cause favored division, classic Nigel Farage, hate fear mongering approach.
Doesn't mean there's 1 million aren't speaking any English at all.
5 million don't speak good English. 1 million speak no English at all.
And see, he has to reframe it again because he has to constantly backtrack and rephrase it so it sounds like he's actually like making a point.
They're the census facts that we got a couple of years ago. And if you get say you and I went just a few miles east of here, we would see road signs, we would see London Underground signs, we would see bus stops with parallel foreign languages. Now that actually, to most people, is not acceptable.
Well, so Jim Ratcliffe...
And so here's the issue. Here quickly is the issue.
Yeah.
The immigration that we had kind of worked for decades. The numbers were manageable.
Britain needs immigration,
No.
doesn't it? Do you think it does?
It's again trying to shut him down. It's just like no. Listen to me. This is the thing where you need to push back on him. But Sky News are kind of like in the pocket of like rich backers, so they're unable to push back on like actual journalism and like fact check someone like really hard. So he's able to like dance around this guy. But like I said earlier, this guy does do well. He pulls him up on some stuff compared to other Sky News presenters.
Immigration?
No, immigration, generally.
Do you know what? When I was first elected to the European Parliament in 1999, the word immigration didn't appear once on my literature. It wasn't an issue because net migration was about 30,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's gone since then to 1 million a year. And that's the point.
Let me just come back to your point about foreign street signs and that kind of thing. So Jim Ratcliffe himself is an economic migrant, isn't he? He lives in Monaco. Should he speak French or Monegasque living there?
He would probably argue that he's a refugee from the British tax system, but that's a separate debate.
He's an economic migrant, isn't he?
Monaco is a...
Is he an economic migrant, yes or no?
And bear in mind in this, right, this like what Nigel Farage just brought up. He's an economic migrant from the British tax system. And if you track this down and find out how much tax Ratcliffe has actually avoided paying, it comes up to 4 billion. So that's 4 billion British pounds that this guy has avoided paying because he lives in Monaco. And this is one of the things that many billionaires do. They just move somewhere else and they have like stuff set up in England where they're earning money, but they're not paying in money. This guy like is all for these type of people. So when he says he wants to make England a better country, he's not talking about for the lower class, he's talking about for the higher class, the 1%. So you'll see like these big investors or these big corporations getting like really, really big tax breaks. If you just look at America, it's the perfect example of what Nigel Farage wants. But Ratcliffe avoids paying 4 billion in tax. This was in 2022. This was estimated. And when he actually had a residence in England, he paid 110 million. That was in between 2017 and 2018. But he no longer lives in Britain anymore, so he's avoided paying tax. So now he has, he pretty much owes 4 billion. Let's just say that in UK taxes that he is not paying. But still, he comes to the country and comes here and then says, from Monaco, he comes here and says that we've been colonized by immigrants. You can't make this stuff up, honestly. Like, it is a joke. It is actually a joke that like billionaires are able to like waddle around like this, and meanwhile, like people can't even get away with not paying their TV license in the UK, and they get tracked down and instantly like brought up, so they have to pay like a hefty fine. And these guys are like sitting in a different country, not paying 4 billion. 4 billion. Let that sink in.
He's a tax migrant.
He's an economic migrant then, isn't he?
Yes, he is. But you know what? He's not claiming Social Security.
But he's
not claiming Social Security.
He's not paying taxes that could go on people's benefits.
Nobody's spending lots of money in Monaco, employing people and spending money in the high street.
Well, he's actually
in Monaco. In Monaco. Don't worry, guys. England's gonna be safe. Ratcliffe's spending money in Monaco, so you know what? Everything's good. You'll see everything turn around soon. Just not in your visual. It'll be in Monaco, but you know what?
Nigel Farage, he's cut hundreds of jobs here in the UK, in Grangemouth. He wanted to build...
Do you know why?
Hang on a second. He wanted to build his Ineos Grenadier car in Wales. You know where it's built now? It's built in France. Yeah. And so how much has he contributed?
And I suspect that Grangemouth will close. The last major manufacturing plant in Scotland will close. It may well be that Ineos have no UK presence at all in a few years' time. And do you know why?
It's not a good thing.
Do you know why? Moronic energy policy put in place by both Conservative and Labour governments. And we need to be real about this. If we want people like Jim Ratcliffe...
This annoys me so much. This recording is like annoying me like to make this. Honestly, just listening to Nigel Farage, it actually does my brain in. Honestly, like the fact that people believe his idiotic takes just absolutely infuriates me. It really, really does. It really, really does. The fact that like people listen to this guy, oh my God.
Investing in Britain, employing thousands of people, we have to create the right conditions for them.
Do you want...
No special favours, but the right conditions.
Do you want people like Jim Ratcliffe as reform supporters, as reform donors? Is he going to be a donor?
I don't know, but what I have asked him, I'll be honest with you, what I have asked him is to advise me on how we put together an industrial strategy for this country so that we can re-industrialise. We have witnessed the loss.
Wouldn't it be better if someone living here was helping you out with that?
Oh, he got him. God damn. This is typical, though. The guy complaining about migrants wants a migrant to like tell him how to do things. It's out of this world, the logic. Like, you can't make this shit up.
What? Do you know what? He has been living here for most of his life. He's recently gone to Monaco. Do you know why? Because he fears, as I fear, and as has happened to me,
UK tax. That's what they fear. They don't want to pay for your hospitals. They don't want to pay for your roads, your infrastructure. No. Who's gonna buy him a yacht? Who's gonna buy him that new car? Who's gonna pay for the expensive dinner parties? It's not you. Well, you are actually. You're paying through the nose for their stuff. But do you see any of their money? Nah. He's just a poor economic migrant. I mean, on the world stage, you know, it's kind of hard for him. You know, his net worth only being, what is it again? What is his net worth again? His net worth only being 23 billion. That's small numbers compared to today's billionaires. He needs more money. Think about it. Think about his poor bank account. How's he gonna survive? God damn it.
private pension that I save for is now being retrospectively taxed. There are people with assets terrified of what this government may do to them. Now look, is he still a major investor in Britain? Yes. Is he still a major employer in Britain? Yes. Does he care about Britain? Well, look at his role with Man U Football Club. But he's raising...
Which, by the way, Man U Football Club, half the players are migrants, like that have been bought from other clubs in different countries and come to play in England. And the fact that you have to think about that, this guy is investing in Man United, a club which has like players from different countries that come into play, and he's talking about colonization of like Britain being done by migrants. It's like, it's the stupidest thing ever.
He's raising two big issues here. Yeah. One is the numbers that have come to Britain have been detrimental to our community, and two, what he's saying outside of this is that our energy policy is closing down British jobs and industry.
I mean, you brought up Man United, of which he is a co-owner. Man United fans will tell you he nickel and dime there making cuts, whilst also paying millions to economic migrant Premier League footballers.
Have you seen Man U's results?
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up, sir. Thank you.
Recently.
That's nothing to do with
Have you seen Man U's results recently?
Well,
they are. Hang on.
I'm a Liverpool fan, so yes, of course, I've seen.
Well, they're on the turn.
Well, I think Michael Carrick probably has more to do with that than.
Well, he would argue.
However, the point remains the same. He's employing economic migrants who play for Manchester United.
Yeah. And are they on benefits?
Are they paying?
Oh my God. Got him, Nigel. You know what, Nigel? You're cooking. God damn. Look at that face. He's like, I got you, bitch. I got you, bitch. Are they on benefits? I don't see you running around kicking a football, Nigel. Getting paid millions. Well, actually, you do get paid millions from rich donors, but you know, you're not like some superstar footballer. That was the funniest comeback ever. Oh my God. I just love how smug his face is right now. Like with that comeback, he's like, this is a gotcha moment. You can imagine like the Reform fanboys just kicking back like, oh my God, he got him. Oh my God. Holy shit.
Taxes, I would assume.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
But the man who owns them isn't.
I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. To compare high-skilled migration or work permits.
So that's fine.
Limited.
I'm trying to understand.
It's always been fine. Okay. It's always been fine. What is not fine is an increase of the population of 12 million people. What is not fine is the impact that's had on the lives of ordinary folk and communities.
Again, this goes right back to the government's failure to ID these people and then put them into actual working job, like labor intensive jobs. They would do those, but they refuse to do this because the system is broken for what's the word I'm looking for? Processing these migrants that come in. So they just get left in like a loop. So this is a failure upon like the Conservatives and the Labour Party. This will also be a failure on Reform, but Reform will probably do something similar to the Gestapo, which we see in America, where they're like handcuffing people and putting them in prison camps. Like there will be no effort to actually like help these migrants get into work. It'll just be shipped right back out. And that'll either be like arresting people or forcefully arresting people, or even like you see in America, where it'll just chase people down if you've got a different color skin that isn't white.
That is what is not fine. What is not fine are areas of our cities being to local residents unrecognisable from what they are. That is what he's saying.
I mean, that is a subjective point of view, because local residents...
That is a very subjective point of view. That's a disgusting point of view. For Nigel Farage, there's not 7 pubs and a chippy. Oh, we don't want those kebabs on our street. Oh, no, 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 no. We don't want those Indian restaurants on our street. Oh, no, 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 no. Asian Chinese food? Can't have that. Unrecognizable. What I need, some... Is a Baker's? Baker's are actually nice. Is a Baker's and somewhere to buy a pork pie and me jelly deals. Also got me jelly deals. All be fine, bruv, in it. It's mint. Mint and jelly deals, these are.
May quite like that.
Well, if they want it turned into a foreign country, maybe they do, but that's what's happened.
On Jim Ratcliffe, you've had conversations with him.
Yeah.
You want to get his advice.
Yeah.
If he did donate, would you welcome that?
In terms of advice as well, you have to remember that Nigel Farage has taken advice from a person who was close to Jeffrey Epstein, Steve Bannon, who helped Nigel Farage with helped the far-right parties, which I believe was Brexit at the time, and the Alternative for Deutschland, the ADF, was also coached by Steve Bannon. So you have to think which is more rich backers who have actually told these far-right parties what to do. So you have to figure out the links again. It's always follow the money. And where the money is, it's with pedos. You didn't hear from me. It's there's an elite pedophile cabal out there. They're like a whole cult and shit, man. It's crazy.
Given that he lives abroad.
Is he a British citizen? Is he a British employer? Is he a British investor? Has he paid vast amounts of tax in this country? Is he patriotic about
Because
Britain?
one of your...
No, he has paid. He hasn't paid. He owes 4 billion in taxes. Actually, what do you mean? Has he paid a lot of tax? He's only paid 110 million, which is still a lot, but it's not 4 billion, is it, Nigel?
biggest
Yes.
owners is Christopher Harborne, isn't he?
Yes.
He lives in Thailand.
So, does he not see the issue here? Does this dumbass not see the issue of what he's saying right now? He's okay with these billionaires going to other countries and taking their jobs and their money. But he's not okay with people coming to our country and doing the exact same thing that he's fine with his rich buddies doing. That's the thing about Nigel. He doesn't care about the poor person. He cares only for the rich and powerful. He just loves to lick that boot.
Well, people who aren't living here and paying taxes here, how much of a say should they have over what goes on here?
We are living, and actually what the Remainer mainstream media needs to get a handle on, we're living in a global economy. And a lot of our entrepreneurs travel around the world and work around the world, and we welcome that. As we welcome foreign businessmen.
I can't actually remember how I voted in the referendum, so I don't know who you're labelling.
I don't believe that for a moment.
We know what you think, but I don't know who you're labelling. Listen, in talking to those billionaires, and maybe you're talking to the likes of patriotic millionaires, they would want more millionaires to stay here and pay their taxes.
Well,
you do.
Do you know what I want?
You're a millionaire yourself now, aren't you?
Do you know what I want?
Millionaire yourself now.
My personal finances are irrelevant. Do you know what I want myself?
Of course it is. Nigel's just a down-to-earth working class person. His wealth is not irrelevant. Not irrelevant at all.
I want as many rich people as possible to come back to the UK, to pay loads of tax here. Because if we force away...
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. It's never happened, and it never will happen. The thing is, the rich people, the wealth doesn't trickle down. That doesn't happen in today's economy. We can see that now. we're in like one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Think of that. And we can't even like build more affordable housing for people. People are like having problems to find jobs. People can't even like afford to like go on a freaking bus. They like struggle to feed their kids. And this guy is telling us that more billionaires in our country is going to help us when it doesn't. It doesn't help us at all. The only way to like get money out of these billionaires is actually tax them. And when they try and run away, you can still tax them. But the governments don't want to do that because they're afraid. You can do it.
All the rich,
You're the freaking government. For God's sakes.
your average worker and your poorer person will have to pay more.
Final point. Net migration has fallen by 2/3 in the past couple of years, down to around about 200,000.
Do you know why?
Well, you will say the Boris wave has passed. Labour would say it's something to do with them.
It's the exodus. Net migration is those that come in against those that leave. Those that come in, hang on, those that come in, and these days are generally quite low skilled, and generally will be a net cost to the country in economic terms, not benefit. There are people coming in. The people leaving are the high taxpayers and the entrepreneurs. We now have an exodus.
He's going to tell you we have an exodus of rich people. That's what he's saying.
Of talent from our country.
Yep, there we go. There it is. All right. I don't think he's going to say anything in these last 20 seconds that's going to be interesting. It's always fun catching up with Nigel. Oh my God. That's... All right. Thanks for watching. I'll try and release more videos of like reporting on news or like talking about news. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you could like the video, it would be a big help. Much appreciated. And yeah. I hope if you watch this video you come to understand like there is only one way of doing this, and that is to vote green if you want a better outcome for this country. Because Labour, the Conservatives, the Liberal Democrats, all of these parties just want billionaires to just continue destroying the country, and they will have companies coming in and just destroying all our local businesses and the way of Britain. So, again, thank you for watching, and peace out. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.